All right, here we go. Draft took a curious turn at the end with the Gragas picks. We got Azir in the top lane. We got something spicy. So Sandbox has been a pretty good team, 7-3, but T1's been crushing it, 9-1. We're gonna get a best of 3 out of this game, but T1 has really been looking in world class form. So we'll see what we get out of it. It looks like they traded a Zeri plus Lulu combination, which is always deadly. Gragas in here with Wukong and Gnar means we have a Wombo combo to set up Lucian. So this comp is really going to be about Lucian popping off. Scaling advantage is going to go to Sandbox though, right? So you've got Zeri, Silas, Azir, late game powerhouse is Lulu as well. I like how they position themselves to fight down that ward. Look at that. It's all about a battle for the bot lane bush. And in these Lucian Nami lanes, it's all about the fight. Now, at level 1, common misconception is that this team just like automatically wins. Just definitely not the case, right? You can fight them a lot, especially at level 1, when Lucian doesn't have multiple ways to turn on his passive. It's after that, right? Level 2 and 3 is when he gets much stronger, and 3 is when they're going to be looking for this all-in. So here's the big question of the draft. It's the Azir in the top lane versus Gnar. You saw a couple games where Azir was picked as a counter pick to Heimerdinger in bot lanes. And what ended up happening was, like, yeah, you've got a range advantage and you can poke, but then you're stuck with this, like, off spot, kind of easy to gank. Champ doesn't give much in the fights. And I'm worried that this top lane might come down to that too, right? Especially once you get an item here, and Gnar's going to have consistent advantage over time, dealing damage with his auto attacks. Maybe you can poke him enough, but the all-in is going to favor the Gnar, especially once you get into that mega form. It is interesting. There are some interesting dynamics, and I bet Sandbox has a better idea of what's going on than T1 about it. But if Gnar tries to Gnar out by jumping in to try to get an engage, Azir might just shuffle him back. What's up, Nomad? Refreshing to see Gragas mid. Yeah, indeed, absolutely. It's one of those things where a lot of even the top laners have been picking up the Everfrost. And it's like, yeah, you can build this like semi-tanky AP-ish build. Demonic Embrace is a really strong item. Abyssal Mask is really strong. So there's a lot of combinations that allow Gragas to kind of be this, just mage, but also relies on high AP ratios for heals and just getting good positions like that. So here we go. We start the engage. They do get everything up front. Kayle and Umvi have to step back. It's just in time. They didn't even need Wukong. Wukong was there as the insurance. But they were winning that trade either way. So good signs for T1 right now. Gnar looking to be pressing up against the Azir. And again, it's a complete mismatch, right? Doran's Ring versus Doran's Shield. It's not very close on this patch. It's getting nerfed in 13.4 because Doran's Shield is just that good. But, you volunteered yourself into an Azir versus Doran's Shield situation. So I don't know. Things are kind of weird. We'll see if they can pull it out. But it does look like heavily draft favored for T1. All right, so we get Vi doing a inverted clear. Here we go, coming back to top side. Look at all the investment that blue team has put in their bot side. So they've decided, hey, we brought Wukong down to the bot lane. We didn't get the kill, but we did get the push, right? So they pushed in the wave. They use that advantage, the priority in bot lane to take over the Eastern Quadrant vision, right? You see all these wards here. And this is basically forcing the lane to come out, and they're protected against a dive because they can see most of their rotations. All right, so one of the things that Silas could do, he could actually come straight through their jungle where they don't have any vision. If they have any kind of inkling that their side is all lit up, maybe they can get a path through there. Maybe look for Vi to come to mid lane to help with the push, and then we try to get a crash in bot wave. So that's the answer if Sandbox wants to unfreeze this situation in bot lane. Because right now you've got a losing lane with fewer items, worse items, and it's frozen against you. It's a bad spot. So the answer, right, Vi has got to come through mid to push out. This is the option, the second best option, the one that's a little bit more disguised, less kind of brutally honest. Oh, what a dodge faker. Holy crap. But this is Vi deciding to just come straight up through the lane, right? They probably have vision of you in your Eastern Quadrant, so don't go through the quadrant. Instead, just go straight through lane. It's one of the things that in your Q games, there's a lot of opportunities for doing better. A lot of people just come straight back to lane. Like, those are the people that should go through the jungle, and sometimes the junglers go and do their camps before ganking. There's often windows where you can just go straight up the lane and then go take your Gromp on the way out. One of the other things that these pro teams are going to be doing, especially with the changes in the trinket duration, right? A lot of these teams, the teams that have adjusted better to the new timers, are going to have a big advantage as far as finding some of these opportunities for plays. So anyways, they try to get the crash in, and it looks like Gumayusi is trading a little bit of health to keep that wave position. Gragas is hovering bot side. This is going to be an all-in right here. They're going to juke. Oh my god, again, the side steps. T1 is so good at just taking that micro step to the side. Little trick that we picked up watching on stream, right? When these guys are using their mouse, you see a lot of pros using self-centered camera in heated moments, and it's because that way you don't need to care about where your mouse is going. All you need to do is mouse move a centimeter in any direction, and that's enough to start dodging, right? And even if you're in a running path and you don't want to accidentally hit wards or hit a blast cone, for example, you don't even need to click. Right, you click once and you just spacebar and hold your mouse on whatever side you want to start moving to, and that's your easiest way to kind of dodge in those tough situations. So wouldn't be surprised if he's pulling that maneuver right there. But incredible reflexes, no matter how you cut it, from Owner and Faker on display already. What other pro leagues? We try to keep tabs on LCK, LEC, and the LPL. LCS is just kind of, we watch it for fun, but less analysis, because they tend to just copy paste, for better or for worse. Usually for worse. They just try to pick up what other regions are doing. But this will be it'll be interesting to see. Maybe Azir in not mid, maybe that came from LCS. Maybe they're copying that. But either way, like, it's gonna have a lot to prove. The scaling advantage is obviously in Sandbox's wheelhouse here, but the wombo combo, like, how are you going to deal with the solution in the mid game, right? So many of these items, so many of these champions are so good on one item. Lucian in particular being, the chief amongst them, it's going to be very hard to see them come out of this. All right, so check this out. We've got the early Catalyst and Tier. This is the classic pairing, right? You can kind of get the best of all worlds by going Catalyst item, Tier item, and Demonic Embrace. You end up just stacking all your base health and mana and getting really good multipliers off of that. We'll see if that's where he ends up going. Yeah, the not taking flash is a big deal, right? Azir has a way out, and at level 6 he has 2 ways out. And that's sort of classically been what some of these champions do, like Kled and Camille. But we have the engage. Here we go. They force the issue. Going hard in. This is what you can do with Vi. And they get enough healing, enough shielding from Lulu to actually carry that fight. So well done. And here we go. All right. Is he going to make it out? No, Polymorph there. Polymorph shuts him up. He's not able to get out any better. And a good proactive play from Sandbox. Right? So there you go. You bring in the numbers. You're forcing the fight. Very strong. Ooh, Birdall, no. And then we see the counter flip. Look at him juggling. Oh my gosh. These T1 players are so good with the minutia clicks. Did you see how he was in and out of turret range? Like, you could almost hear the dunk of the turret taking aggro. And it's like, nope, you're not going to get me. I'm going to move back out, come back in, hit you, move back out. So precise. They look so good, right? And this has to be the thing. You can say, hey, we're really good. We're a good team. We've got good shot calls. We make a lot of good decisions. But in China, and specifically in the super server, what they're seeing is, like, there's players that are even better than the pros on champions. Just mechanically having better access to more skills, being able to get more skill expression. Oh, here's the pro view. I love seeing this. Let's see where his mouse is at. Can we see that? Yeah, look at that. So insane. Throws his mouse over, comes in and out of turret aggro, gets the stun into the queue, waiting for cooldowns. It's so good. Yeah, Zeus might be the most talented player in the whole world. But, it's tough to say because, again, the super server, you get away with not getting banned out. So it's tough to say, like, how good is Beifeng on Qiyana compared to, Faker on a wide, array. Chances are that the solo, these solo queue specialists with one tricks are going to be so strong. Here we go. Nars just kicking his ass now. using the extra health that you get from Gnar, right? You take those fights, you don't mind taking a couple turret shots because the health will stick. So he's using the Mega Gnar as a way to heal up, and then all that pressure lets him go into the Rift Herald. So they're going to have a pretty big advantage coming through here, even though they lost that dive in the bot wave. Now check this out, more focus from bot. We've got Vi. The Vi-Lulu combo is just so deadly. Every time Lulu's ult is up, you're going to see Vi ult into Lulu ult. And, you know, Lulu kind of solves all the problems that Vi has. And similarly to Yuumi, very good pairings. Vi needs that extra ability to gap close and a little bit more ability to stay alive. And Lulu offers both of those things. Speed boost to get them in, get the little whimsy action, an extra shield potentially. Can use a slow to follow up on the CC, plus the ultimate to keep him healthy, keep her healthy. So I really like the pairing. The fight, you know, it'll be really interesting to see if these fights, if they do come online, or whether or not, you know, T1 just gets to take over the map. But, you know, the non-scaling team did not get the dragons. Maybe they're relying on just excellent AoE team fights to win through these fights later. But if you're Sandbox, right, just don't make the mistake 100 Thieves made. Right, last week 100 Thieves threw away the game just by matching every single time. They're like, they were behind with the scaling comp, and they just matched every single dragon attempt and Baron attempt, and they didn't scale. So they end up just snowballing the game away for their opponents. We'll see if Sandbox has a better grasp on how to approach this mid game. All right, they're pushing up again. This is a little bit of a precarious position, especially since Vi has been showing to focus. So check out Wukong. He's hovering on this side. No camps for him to take, right? But you can see he's going to go prioritize the river first. My team needs help. They need me to help with this push. I'm going to clear out wards. I'm going to be present to get this push in. Maybe even get some plates, and I'm here to back them up. And then I can go back into my jungle. So expert jungling right there. And you see Vi is also hanging around. There it is, Vi over the wall, getting into Lucian again. This is a thing when you've got this like singular hyper carry, right, that you want Lucian to carry the entire game. Champions like Vi become exceptionally strong because they have single target lockdown. MSI should be telling how T1's going to stack up against LPL or G2. Yeah, I mean, G2 looks really good. Their bot lane's playing, you know, absolutely cracked. We'll see how the best is. But MSI's got that new format, right? So we're going to have, what is it, 2 teams? It's closer to Worlds, right? It's 2 teams at every group, or is it 2 and then 3 from the major regions? Oh, look at that. Silas looking to trade a little bit aggressively, keeping Gragas a little bit further away, but he does get the 2 plates off. Zeri being Zeri, completely broken still. It's a fun champion though. I think you know, Zeri's good for ratings. Like, these people are so incredibly good on it. Now that the W's got that AD ratio as well, just, you know, a kind of cleaner build as well for the champ. And Lulu is always going to be the #1 pairing for her. Did I see a G2 Sejuani Olaf Belveth comp? No, but I dig it. I trust Belveth was jungle, or did they put Belveth in the lane? Because you can eschew kind of the extra stacks and instead get some of the pushing pressure. She's actually a little bit better in lane than people might realize, even though her Q is really bad against minions early. So I imagine she's probably in the jungle. Yeah, confirmed in the jungle. Makes sense. But yeah, triple melee. I mean, Koi left Olaf in the draft. That's their own. It's their own damn fault. Some people claim that there's an Olaf to blame, but I know I could have banned his ass. Look at that, Zeus! Again, sidestepping the ultimate from Birdall. And then auto flash to finish. Jesus, player div. Birdall is no slouch either. Zeus is just out of this world good. All right, Gumayusi ends up breaking most of his ult into the front line, into the shields, but is able to go here. Gragas with his exceptionally large belly is able to body block with the biggest frame in the entire game. If you didn't know that, Gragas wins every bop to bop. It's always him. He's got the widest hit frame. So Faker swinging that belly around, crushing in that fight. Good to see. We're going to see a lot of second items, see where people are going with item number 2. First 10 minutes was fun to watch. I bet. I mean, Sejuani's the premier ganker. She can push. She's just totally solid in lanes. Olaf is the best laner in the game right now. And Bel'Veth is the highest tempo champion in the entire game. Look at that sidestep. Gosh. So good. You could argue that maybe Birdall could have exhausted first so that the sidestep wouldn't have been as effective. But just incredible spacing. Like, how many people are capable of using a melee character and maximizing DPS while still dodging an effect like that? Incredible. We got Q flash from Closer, unable to get the follow. Oh, there we go. And that's, if they could have followed it off right on the polymorph, they would have been much stronger. Envy's able to get the trade kill, but it does cost them the rest of the team. But in these cases, when you're going towards the end, it is always much better to trade kills, right? If it's going to end up 3 champions versus 1 champion or 2 versus 0, you always want to trade that extra kill at the end. Because the one champion is going to be starved no matter what you do, right? They can't really show up anywhere because the numbers can push them out, and they can't really pick anything up. So you want to get those trade kills whenever possible, and especially on Zeri. So we do see Immortal Shieldbow, which is kind of interesting to me because it looks like they're trying to wombo, right? T1's trying to build this wombo team fight, but they don't have that much access to seek and destroy the Zeri. In fact, most times it's going to be Vi initiating on Lucian. So I don't know that I'm a huge fan of the Immortal Shieldbow here, right? I'd like to see a little bit more damage. That is the lowest damage build you can go on Zeri. You obviously do want to scale and you want to get her up, but are you just not going to be able to participate in these fights and deal enough damage? I guess we'll find out. But that's great. I'm happy to see Bel'Veth in. I still think Bel'Veth is a ridiculously strong champion that is not given nearly enough credit. She is the best ender of games, and I do think that Heimerdinger Ziggs plus Bel'Veth is the premier setup for a comp. There's a lot of different combinations you can get off of that. Look at that play from Gragas, just healing up, using the Eternity passive from the Catalyst and getting in, just using healing back up. Well done. Good spacing. And this is the thing, right? This is what we don't want to see from Sandbox, is matching in the river, right? You go for the play mid. That part's great. But then once that kind of fizzles out, don't just stare at them taking the Rift Herald. You are weaker. You are just weaker. So you need to go and take presence in other positions. Anytime that the enemy team wants to commit members, you head fake over so that it forces them to bring 3 people and pushes them out of the lane just by kind of being in the fog of war. And as soon as the other team commits to the river, you go back, you try to get a +1 wave advantage in 3 different lanes, if you can do it. And you try to create that advantage of 300 gold and experience for the scaling team. But instead, they kind of match off, they stare at it. And we've got another Herald for T1. You can bet that they're going to try to break down mid and play a little bit inside out. Nar's going to be starting to move towards the bot lane as he is just demonstrably larger than the Azir. And you see Azir actually going for this crown of the Shattered Queen, saying like, yeah, I need this to survive in side lanes. Let's see if we get an engage from Sylas. No. All right, they don't even need to use the Herald, and they get midwave. So this is looking very, very bad for Sandbox. They are, it seems like they're on skates right now. So, right, the analogy is you're skating, and suddenly you're on your blades, and you can't stop, and then you're just going faster and faster and faster, and you can't stop the momentum going against you. That's what they need to do. They need to force themselves to take a hard turn, get out of this situation where they're just losing everywhere, and instead say, I will lose one place and win 2 other places. That's what you have to be looking at if you're these teams. In G2, they went Varus Heimerdinger. That makes a lot of sense. Yep, premier laners, and then you just take that lead in the push. And you say, we're going to push and siege, and Bel'Veth... Oh, was that the one much earlier in the year? Because I did see Bel'Veth get the second fastest win in the history of the LEC with... with Belveth. I don't know if that's the game you were talking about. But yes, I did watch that one. But if it happened this week, then no. But yeah, that was like a 18-minute 57 game or something like that, or 19:30 or something. Very, very, it was on the edge of being the fastest game in the region history. All right, check out the siege. Here we go. They got the upfront chunk damage, and they got the Herald in bot wave. So that regen, that's not going to come back, right? Those turrets have 2,700 health. Every chunk of 900 that you get down is permanent. It will heal back up to 900, but it won't go any farther past that. So the Rift Herald, if you can get it onto base turrets, is always the most valuable. That's not coming back, and that's permanent pressure that they'll be able to have anytime that they have a slow push brewing in the bot wave. They'll be able to turn it into threat for an inhibitor. This is Gragas just being incredibly strong in these situations, but can't handle the perfectly timed CC loop. So all knockups too, right? So there's not even tenacity that gets you out of that. But with all that health, and despite having the Roa and the Seraphs, right? Perfectly timed CC layering, you've got bump into knockup, into knockup, into knockup. So well done by them finding that kill, and that's what they need to do. Just keep on moving. It's jab, jab, punch, pop, pop, bam. Just make plays somewhere, right? Make punches. Find somewhere to make small little punches. You can't go into the big, like, let's just wail on each other, staring at each other in the river. It's got to be side to side, find a spot, bob and weave. Kind of a little Muhammad Ali, dance like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Just in, boom, make that quick sting and get out. So well done by Sandbox. T1's probably feeling it though, right? They've got 2 items on their biggest characters, and they even have the extra serrated Dirk building into it. Looks like Lucian actually is going to finish the Collector, which is something that's a little bit newer, but now that Navori Quickblades is around, you see a lot more Collectors being finished. But specifically, he goes Rapid Fire Cannon second instead of the Quickblades. So looking to actually get those autos in, and really a testament to how afraid Gumayusi is of this Vi. Right? They've got Whimsy to speed up the Vi, the dash to come in, the ultimate to try to connect. Silas has 3 different ultimates that he can find, arguably 4 that are big teamfight ultimates, but 3 of them that can isolate Lucian if he ever missteps. So you can see that maybe the Rapid Fire Cannon is a testament to wanting to play a little bit further back, wanting to play for that first proc. And again, if you get the first auto, the second one will come. Even though you don't have any more attack range, it's going to proc the passive and you're going to get it off. It was game 2 on February 20th. Okay, so just this week they did it again. Okay, I'll have to check it out. That'll be fun. Ooh, look at the interaction. Nard jumping over Vi, trying to get a punch in, and we get the teleport up. Is it going to be enough? Oh, the flash. They see the animations, and they go in for everything. They're going to get this kill on to Silas, which means that they're definitely going to get the Baron now. Azir's on the complete wrong side of the map with no progress, right? I would say the right side of the map as long as Silas isn't dying. But in this case, what are you going to do, Azir? Like, I don't like that they're coming back. They're teleporting. They're trying to... This is someone laying down in the coffin, holding the shovel and tossing the dirt over themselves. What are you doing? They might decide that the best chance of winning this game is to actually just create some bedlam here and go for this, albeit we'll say like a 20% play, if played very, very well. Oh, the ult flash from Wukong to answer the Vi. They're deciding, right, this has to be a calculated choice, that this is our best chance of winning. We are losing. If we lose Baron, we've got no pressure in any wave. We've only killed 1 turret. We're better off trying to make this like bedlam style play by contesting it. So well done at the end, the choice to just say, all right, this is actually our best chance of winning, rather than just bleeding out. But again, you just go back in the past 10 minutes, there's so many times that they stared down the fight and they just had to buckle rather than just trying to scale up and trade resources in other lanes. It's kind of unacceptable that this scaling team has only broken 1 turret, right? Not able to get anywhere on cross map. And they just didn't realize how much danger they were going to be in right here. And maybe Azir's sitting on half an item. All right, so I will say one of the things for closer now, I don't know how much vision they actually had. I'd like to see it from their point of view. But when you teleport, Well, actually, no. It looks like he got to the turret, so there wouldn't have been any map indicator for that. Decent shuffle. You know, Birdall getting in there, trying to shuffle some of them out means that they can get something. Oh my god, look at that. R flash to jump under the Zeri as she's arriving. But still she's able to fight on, and boom, it's not until the Gnar is able to pull her in and they're able to take the rest of that. And honestly, like, that is your best chance. A lot of spells are on cooldown. Props to Sandbox to say, hey, we just got to put it all on the line right now and risk it, right? It sucks. We're going to lose most times. 4 times out of 5, we just lose this. And even when we win, we're only going to be like back to 50-50. But, you know, one weighted coin flip against, and then one where you are a little bit closer to even. If you win those 2 flips, you win the game. So that's your best chance of winning. Even though it's only 15%, it's much better than just giving everything up and letting them walk all over you. So here we go. T1's going to push in multiple different lanes. You're always going to see the fighter in the mid lane, and you're going to see the 4 or 3 in between, depending on what kind of jungler you have. But often it's going to be jungler hovering in between those 2 lanes while the fighter's in mid. That's because the fighter has the easiest rotation, right? They're the healthiest. They've got a lot of resources for collapsing into a fight and not really giving up anything. So you're going to see them put the fighter in the mid lane almost always. Also, mid lane easiest to escape from. So that's what's going in there. We're going to see if they try to immediately continue this. Wow, Zeus is just owning this game, dude. This guy is so good. All right, they're going to come back, pick up Dragon 3. This is really an insurance policy. It's, you know, they're getting a couple nominal stats here. It's going to help them push out, but it's also giving them a 3rd dragon in case they're unable to end the game straight up off this Baron. What they are going to be able to do with the supers in top wave, they're going to make the same squeeze again. 3 in bot, 1 in mid, and 1 in between. Warning all the transition points. This is your classic macro. Perfect spot. Look at this. They're getting wards in between so that they can't be pincered or wedged. And then they come in. Again, same thing. Boom. Put up the guns. Now they come on over. They're finally ready to take down that mid one. When you take the mid one first, it's much easier for their team to defend. So instead, they take the side, force the defenders to move back and forth, seesaw on the defense. And Owner, all right, here we go. There's a mistake. Being on the wrong side of the wall, a little bit too far away from his group, so Sandbox is able to take the play. So this has to be it. Sandbox has to go all in. Azir has to find this shuffle, but does not have flash. This is the problem. You decide to go exhaust to answer some amount of all-ins, but you don't have flash to reposition yourself for the shuffle. So Birdall right here, your team needs you to int. You have to int. Good job disengaging by T1. But if you're Sandbox, right, the same mentality. The reason that you had to go all in for Baron, same thing right there. You've got 1 kill. You're absolutely far behind. But if you do not take exceptional risks and try to make an exceptional play there, then you're not going to be back in this game. Okay, so they did catch Wukong trying to sneak in. A little bit onerous. Effenheimer support. Yeah, it's true. The top lead bled into the other lanes. I mean, yeah, largely, right? Like, that's the whole thing. What is an Azir? What is an Azir doing for your team here? And in that case, we saw the big, like, how faulty it was that they didn't have flash. Right? They didn't, and no flash for trading for exhaust, meaning that you think you can, like, win this lane in some way. If they're going in on you, you can exhaust and just win. Like, what is that saying? Or is it just, hey, we can exhaust once, I can shuffle once, exhaust once, shuffle again, play safe, you know, kind of dealing with the 22-second Gnar cooldowns that are there. Great job by Gumayusi stepping up, right? You see that a lot in pro play. The E into Gale Force into autos as a way to get up. And of course, you've got Nami speed boosts and bonuses to get up there. They're not going to need the extra dragons again, right? They just took it as a way to get it off the map. And in case they only get inhibitors, that's all they need. But check it out. E-Flash from Gragas into ultimate, into Zhonya's. That's going to reset his aggro. They pick up the aggro on the side. Owner is able to Zhonya's the Shrima Shuffle. Do they ever even kill him? Yeah, they get him. They're gonna in for the turret, and they got it. Gumayusi just going to the side, hiding around the fat man to get to the other side. A great game played by T1, honestly. All right, here we go. Game 2. See what kind of early presence. I see some wards on the other side of the map, so we're going to back up and see the beginning, see what they're trying to do here. We've got, okay, Lee Sin, Gragas to go in with the Yasuo. I dig it. Okay, I see the Caitlyn in support, which often is either I'm trying to beat Heimerdinger or prevent Heimerdinger, or I'm trying to be the better, higher damage support if we're going into a double AD lane, which is what we've got. Now, Ezreal and Ashe actually sneaky good at level 1, so you do have to be careful. The all-in actually favors them. A lot of people are not willing to like go all the way in on that, but you see that they're not going to go leash here. Instead, they get prio in the lane. You're trying to stack your passive on Ashe so that you can get the Q, and if you get into an all-in fight, the Q will win the fight. Ezreal, same thing. You're stacking the Q to get your passive attack speed bonuses off and to get an HP lead on the minions. So look at this adaptation from Sejuani, starting with the Raptors, as you should when you're by yourself. Very easy clear nowadays because of the way that the Pokemon are clearing and the amount of AoE. So 2 Ws from Sejuani kills that camp and then is able to go here. And then we got straight up. Now they found it, right? T1 not realizing how much stronger this composition of Ashe Ezreal was going to be, right? It's sneaky how good those champions are at level 1, but he misses a Q. That's a big deal because now his passive stacks are dropping. He's trying to call Sejuani over, and I know Sejuani's going to be looking. Lee Sin's coming over. No, Sejuani stops to take camps, but Ezreal eventually gets it, just keeping him pinned in there. So Sandbox, using matchup knowledge to win bot wave, just gets in their face using the Ezreal and Ashe attack speed steroids to beat up on Jhin Caitlyn. That's a huge mistake from T1. Well played there. If you are the jungler and you're in a matchup like that, you see a matchup like that, you do want to try to hover bot right away. And what Sejuani did was great. Raptors into red to support that play. But if you're Lee Sin and you're on the wrong side of the map, like you can't really stop it. So T1 had to play a little bit more passively, much more passively. Let those waves rebound, give Lee Sin time to show up, because instead you're going to be dealing with a crash here. Now you can have an item lead, level lead, health lead, everything, and they're going to come back in position with the wave coming out, which means Sejuani knows that she can go freely into the top side, the western quadrant, and there's never going to be any repercussions. Not only that, but you've got Ashe who can hawkshot, who can keep track of the Lee Sin. Now, this is one thing that T1's going to try to look to do is you want to find Sejuani, right? If you're, look at that. Ward hop at instant speed into E-flash from Lee Sin to get the slow. Full continuation, just such strong play. And Zeus is the guy in the entire world that I will trust with Yasuo more than anybody else. Even the Yasuo one tricks trying to ladder up. Zeus is just absolutely incredibly strong here. All right, so check this out. Waves coming out, and again, look at that. They're going to start being aggressive. Super up. Keria and Gumayusi with Lee Sin on the wrong side of the map can't be stepping up like this. They are disrespecting how strong this lane is, and I'd like to go back and see the draft and see what kind of options might have been there other than Caitlyn. Like, if we're talking about the Karmas and Heimerdingers of the world, I wonder if those were banned and this is what they decided to get into. Because right now, you're just dealing with a losing lane that doesn't particularly scale either. And Caitlyn as a support is garbage, right? And whereas Ashe actually has effects and spells for later in the game. She's got plenty of abilities that make her feel like a support. There's the replay on the utter domination at level 1. This is what was happening. Yeah, here we go. From owner. Look at this. Ward hop into E-flash. Just automatic. Oh, they're not going to show it. All right, and here we go. They're going to try to cement the play. They push out mid. Closer and Willer are trying to hold these guys in place. They're going to go for a 4v3. We've got the teleport. Yasuo was waiting on it. It needs to be execution. It's going to be tough. If T1 comes out 50-50, they win this. Check it out. Oh, my God. What a play. Oh, my gosh. They blow it up. All right, this game's done. If you try that play, you need to get it right. All right, and it's totally fine to rotate your Gnar over after his shop, right? He still hasn't even shopped yet. Get him to shop, have him coming bottom, and then you can teleport him back to top wave, right? He can't join this fight with a teleport of his own. But what ends up happening, right? T1 not only surviving, right? The wave getting pulled over here, but the team's not taking aggro yet, right? So the moment they take aggro, that's when the teleport comes in. That is professional coaching right there, right? You wait for the aggro. The moment that you see aggro, boom, then you're in. You don't want to do it before because then they can just extract and they're not losing anything. But if they're taking multiple turret shots, you're at least getting that back. And the other, what ends up happening, we get a huge lead from Faker. He gets the free push. He gets the majority of the plate up in mid-wave, so he'll be able to get that. And we're going to be much stronger here with Jin going into the mid-game. But right now, you still favor that bot side. They're going to try it again. This time, Gragas is coming over. There's no teleport from Yasuo, but they didn't rotate Gnar. What are they doing? Okay, they end up getting it with the explosion. It's the stolen Gragas ult is able to come in to force this play on the bot side. And they're really taking advantage of this Caitlyn pick. Like, they are abusing the fact that this champion does not have a support skill set. And they're getting at them down in bot wave. Ezreal's going to get enormous here. We're going to see a really early Essence Reaver. We'll see if they go for the Quick Blades build or if they go for Triforce. I guess no, it wouldn't be that. It'd be Divine Sunder, but I highly doubt they're going Divine Sunder. So almost definitely going to be like Essence Reaver. Maybe you get the lethality and bonuses afterwards. But here's the matchup that you're really loving if you're topside. Yasuo as a counterpick into Gnar is just absolutely phenomenal. All right, here we go. Kate coming up to help push and help siege. Now this is the issue, right? When you have a melee mid-wave mid laner, it can be very difficult to actually push down these plates, right? And you see this example. You have to come up. You actually have to put yourself all the way under the turret. So they bring the Caitlyn over to help push it out. It doesn't look like they're actually going for the plate, though, which is a little bit bizarre. They're just using it to help push, and then they're going to reset this situation. Now, it did bring Ashe over, which means that they got to get out of this situation, and Jin was able to push in an Ezreal. So must have been a little bit of misinformation, a little bit of paranoia about where Lee Sin might be. But check out the other win that T1 gets out of this, right? 4 control wards in the bot side river. They don't want to allow these dives to happen anymore. They're investing defensively into it. A little side step from Keria. Did you see that? That just one little shot. Oh, let me just scoot to the side one moment while Silas is ulting with Gragas. Imagine how good you have to be to not only to just dodge that ultimate, but you have to dodge it from Silas, right? It's not even like the character you're expecting to see it from, and just micro perfect dodges. This team is out of this world good. Yeah, Yasuo top classic. I mean, it is one of the highest effective counter picks to Gnar. And it's just to this point, look at that. So clean. Doesn't even take anything back. That is some expertise. And now you're going to deal with this Ezreal, who's got the massive lead with the Essence Reaver, going to freely push Q on tap. Basically never going to run out of mana because you're just going to be topping off with the passive. So getting the full push in right here, which allows Ashe to always get her harass off. One of the things that you can do against Ashe is kind of sit in the middle of the wave. Something you can do against Ezreal as well, but if they're just shoving the entire wave down, you might have some problems. All right, let's see if they get the counter play on Yasuo. He's got 3 people in his face. There's no way, right? Let's see. There's no Gromp. He probably knows it. He might just try to... No, he's actually going to try to take it to them. So he's trying to stack up passives. Sejuani, look at that. So Sejuani actually holding the stun for a moment, making sure that if the tornado goes off, that you stun right there, and you say, okay, they're not going to be able to go up. Fully counterplayed. But now the response from T1, all right, you want to bring 3 people up top? Fine, we'll bring the Herald in bot. We'll collect plates for our Jin, help them scale up. He's got that early Serrated Dark and Tear. So we might see a full lethality Navori Quick Blades build, kind of a spell version of the Jin coming in here. If that happens, though, I think we're gonna have some serious issues with end game total amounts of damage, right? Especially when you go fleet footwork. If you're gonna go into the spell version, I don't know. Normally you just rush the Gale Force right there. So it will be interesting to see how this comes up, what their big plan is. But again, you know, Ezreal Ashe just kicking some Ashe in the bot wave. And you get Ezreal alone on the turret. You see Ashe isn't gonna grief for this. You want all this gold, all of it on Ezreal. As Ashe, you do not need the extra items. And actually, you know what we see here? Ashe, Julie. It looks like Umbroglaive is going to be the first purchase from Ashe. So not even going for the Imperial Mandate build, or maybe is Umbroglaive into Mandate, something like this. But might also be looking for Black Cleaver or some such. And play super support. All right, Kate, you caught the Ezreal. But now what? Oh, the Ashe. Oh my gosh, the upfront damage. They did not need that ultimate. That's going to be an easy kill. But Sejuani takes it. That's not something you want. And here we go. We'll see if Keria is able to get something. Now, has that Umbroglaive completed? Envy missteps and goes up too far forward and has to use the resources. Well played, Keria. Showing individual skill there. Somehow, despite being demonstrably behind in the lane, gets Umbroglaive faster than the Ashe. Gotta wonder if that has something to do with the boots here, or if it's a little bit to do with the tree. Might have used futures market for it. Tough to say for sure, right? She's got that light blue tree. She's got the inspiration tree. So it could be a little bit extra source, you know, to jump out in front and say, hey, we really want to get back in this position. But yeah, magical footwear, Umbroglaive, and longsword. Oh, big engage. Gragas setting up the Lee Sin beautifully. Owner completely capable of carrying games. Look at this continuation. Gragas holding aggro, except jumps a little too far out and takes an extra turret shot for I don't know why. It looks like maybe he thought that Owner would be... Oh, Owner did get out. Okay. What? Owner got out. So Gragas sacrificing themselves to get the jungler out. Now, as Lee Sin and as Gragas in particular, you want to do that. Right, Gragas in the early game is there to set up the Lee Sin as much as possible. That is the new change coming into effect right there. Lee Sin walking away from the dragon, but the companions cannot kill epic monsters anymore. So almost seeing, you know, could have been a bad situation, but now that's in. But anytime you see fundamental changes to the game, that's where they can express themselves, even in pro play, and they might make these mistakes. All right, we can't get a chance to see this outplay here again. Ezreal, so a little bit behind on the clicks, right? So has to use flash because incapable of just straight up dodging. The E isn't closer to Keria, which means that you don't get the auto hit proc. So one of the tricks that we've done the video here, it's actually, if you look up our shorts, you can see Ezreal aimbot. If you cast your arcane shift, right, the E, when you land, whoever you're next to, closest to, Ezreal will face and the shot will go off. And if your mouse is right where your E went, right? So you E on top of your mouse, they jump over, your mouse is like on 0 degrees, right? There's no like radial direction to it. So whichever way you're facing is the way that your Q will hit. So you have an aimbot trick where you can, if you ever land your W, or if they're the closest target to wherever you can arcane shift, E, don't move your mouse. You will face them as you hit, which means your Q will auto hit as well. But because he didn't go just a little bit further, the E ends up hitting the minions, isn't able to get the aimbot trick off, and is not able to deal enough damage to Caitlyn. Caitlyn's able to fight back. So even at the pro level, they're always working on things. That's a little moment that could have been a little bit better for Sandbox. But you see the difference, right? T1, every time that there's a skill shot, they just micro step and come back. They're super comfortable with it. Not seeing the same thing from the Ezreal on Sandbox. Look at this. Caitlyn showing the Umbroglaive dominance. Crazy. All right, what else are we going to do? Taking stock. We've got 0 completed items on Gragas, so he's actually feeling a little bit weak right here. They've rotated over, and they put Gragas kind of off the map. Now they're going to try to keep predictable spacing here, which allows Zeus to go on Ezreal. That's the other great matchup you're looking for, super darty champion. Yasuo is very good at chasing. Still has the ultimate, which means they're able to clean this up. Oh my goodness, this player on this champion is just exquisite to watch. It's a pure joy. All right, Closer trying to knock them out. Now, I don't like that play right there from Gumayusi. A little bit of a reach on the W. You'd like to wait till you're like positive you're going to hit it. Wait for someone to get either a knock up or a slow, or like wait for the dash. And once they're in their predictable movement space, that's where they can get that W to hit. But this is going to be a tough. This is an uphill slide for Sandbox, right? You've got Yasuo is enormous, right? And with the changes to Infinity Edge, right? There are some times where you can get an Infinity Edge a little bit sooner on the Yasuo, but even still, this Berserker's Greaves plus Immortal Shield Bow is just super, super strong, and the Infinity Edge will just put them over the top. All right, Ezreal getting caught with the Arcane Shift forward again, right? Just a little imprecise, doesn't get it quite far enough. Misses the Q follow-up, and Gumayusi just very comfortably at full health. It doesn't look, honestly, let's call a cat a cat. Envy has just not been good enough this game. All right, here's the continuation again. Look at what's left over as well. They get all these traps. They've got all the presence in top wave. Caitlyn actually pulling her weight. Just moving side to side. Finished that Umbral Glaive first. Ashe somehow still 0-4 and not showing any kind of presence. And, this is going to catch up to them. Level 7 doesn't even have access to max cooldown on the W. The Hawk Shot's going to be on a long cooldown. This is going to be, oh my gosh, he's so good. Even in base, it's just like, whoa, whoops. The Caitlyn, however, is able to get all over the place, and this is what you want as a Caitlyn support. You're just a, trap bot. You're just going to set up an area. A little bit of a bait there. Throwing the ultimate. Look at those moves by Lee Sin. Gosh, this team is so good. They dodge everything. It's like trying to play whack-a-mole on like 10x speed, where the machine, it's just like you just never hit the mole. You just almost have to guess. Or hit multiple spots at the same time and hope one of them hits. Ooh, a little bit of a misclick. All right, I was singing their praises. Carrier, that's why you're on support. But they're not able to get the rest because Zeus wind walls all the continuation damage, showing how good the Yasuo is into this composition. And they're just going to blow up this fight. Gumayusi with the spell Jin version just goes in, killing everybody with the ultimate. Rootin', tootin', sharpshootin'. Had to make sure to get a 4-word descriptor for the Jin. But also, look at this. It's the Yumu's Ghostblade to start. Doubling down on the move speed. So nice. So well executed. So how does Sandbox get out? All right, how you can dig yourself out? Well, for one, you just can't contest anything, right? So at this point, maybe you can try to find something with Caitlyn, but look at that wind wall, just so good. Not only blocking, but also able to get the ultimate on, to get the chunk on Gnar. Taking Gnar a second to get back in the fight. And then he's afraid, right? You can't really step up to try to get that Gnar. Because if he does, he's going to die. So eventually he does go for the flash play. And gets out alive. So doesn't get punished. Able to just stay alive just enough. That is what you're trying to get out of this situation. If you can get one little tap back. But you get Faker with the E-Flash to kill Ezreal. And they don't even get out cleanly, even though the Gnar survives. Who's buying? Kale buys too many pinks? You think so? I don't know if there's such a thing. In this game in particular, where they're trying to like get those fights. Although again, you can say, right, we've got a lot of scaling between Sylas, Ezreal, even Gnar. Although Yasuo is just like a complete counterpick, so that's never gonna be a good spot for you anyways. You can argue that they should be trying to get a little bit more plays in, so they're using the control words to be proactive, but it just seems like Ashe is just always on the back foot, and had to delay, bought normal brown boots And apparently that was enough to delay everything, because then had to get Lucid Boots, then just never got Umbral Glaive. And now, only while the game is being strangled out do you have the Umbral Glaive, so you can't even get out into the river to use that control advantage. Not only that, but they should be on the changed patch where Umbral Glaive no longer one-shots the wards, or the traps, right? So it's not like Umbral Glaive is going to be carrying as much weight as it used to, and how are you ever supposed to use it? All right, Sandbox saying we're going to contest. We're going to make this hard for you. Again, right, this position is so tough for them. They're going to have to try to force a mistake, and they end up contesting. You've got the HP lead. If you're ever going to have a chance, like this is your best chance all game. You've got to flash forward from the Ashe, which is what you want. Do not play afraid. It's just a Jhin ult. Just like run into him. Nope. They play too cautiously. T1 is able to get out unscathed, and this one is in the box. It's going to be tough. How would they get out of this situation? Wombo, that big team fight, right? You get Yasuo to dive in and not kill somebody, but frankly, Yasuo is so big that they're just always going to get the kills here. And even front to back, right? Lee Sin can peel, he can pull, he can do a lot of different things for his team. Lee Sin just exceptionally strong right now. And they just immediately knock this Sejuani up, and there's no continuation. Ooh, smite, all right? I mean, they gave it a good try, but like I hate this positioning by the Ezreal. Why did you run away on the backside here? They've got no damage coming from their supposed carry while walking over a ward. It's got to be better. All right, T1, let's see if they do the same sort of sequence as before, where they're going to bring Yasuo, their fighter, in through the mid wave, bring the team in through bottom. They're going to stranglehold the south quadrant vision. And there we go. Yasuo shows on the map, so we get an engage. Is it going to be enough? Gnar going crazy. They're going to get the up front. A little bit of over-positioning from T1 means that they're going to have to give up this push. Yasuo's going to have to retreat towards top wave. They do get a little bit of damage here, but he is going to go up and reset. They're not going to get much back. Even though they do get these kills, all they're really getting for themselves is time, because it is 90 seconds towards Dragon. These respawns will be truly in well before then. And Yasuo is going to be able to set up another push in the top wave. Has no teleport, so you may see Faker go up instead. The question will be whether or not they try to defend this at all. And then actually, I don't like that Zeus stuck around. Zeus taking the Raptors and then sitting there mid, just sharing experience with Jhin. Could have been pushing top. Could have gotten 2 waves worth of action here. But here's the overstep from Guma Yusi. A little bit late. Coming through there, Lee Sin puts himself into a bad position to try to peel for the Jhin, as he should, but that is on Guma to be the last one rotating through, and without the team's presence, right? So team hat, you have to converge, right? You have to escort the president across in that spot, and it looked like a couple cooldowns were going down at the same time on the wave as Guma was trying to cross. So well played by Sejuani to find that trap, find that engage. And, you know, they do have the catch potential. They can also defend against 1-3-1 pretty well. Silas is going to be able to hold his own. Gnar, even though losing to Yasuo, you don't ever need to, like, put yourself in a position of threat with the Gnar, right? So they're going to be able to defend 1-3-1. Ezreal being the premier mid laner along with Zeri. Owner, kick flash to move them over, gets the setup into Yasuo, but the teams are separated. They're going 2 different spots. You've got Sejuani and Silas are on Gragas Faker instead of in the pit, so they don't consolidate the damage, which means that Gragas is going to just carry this fight, being on the outside, belly bopping people around, not letting them near the dragon. So early game team gets Soul. This is usually how early game team is able to cement wins. You have fantastic siege with Caitlyn, Jhin, Yasuo, even Lee Sin, and Gragas, all great siegers. Look at the sidestep there. Faker just stepping up. Oh my god, Zeus just 5 for 5 with wind walling on reaction, the Ashe arrows. And this time, you know, kind of bizarrely, they don't have a moment to consolidate the troops, so they keep Jhin alone. But because the Ashe arrow and all the resources are used bottom, nothing is able to come of it. crazy, crazy mechanical play from T1 as featuring Zeus. There we go. Kick flash into Yasuo ultimate. Hitting 2 players, so able to go there. But Zeus not dying there somehow. If they kill Zeus, they have a chance, right? But team has to say, oh, nope, we gotta try and make this happen. Here's the play from Owner. Let's see it. Ward hop into, flash kick. Oh my gosh, just so quick, so effective. Zeus is like, I'm in range. Great job. Now getting griefed by the dragon, pushed into the wall, but not enough. The amount is large. It does put him behind on items. Yes, it's true. But you know what? In your solo queue games where the control wards might be less prevalent and hitting your spikes, right? I mean, what did he buy? 7 before he bought his Umbral Glaive? That's probably a lot. But I think it's more indicative that the team was not able to get more done while the control wards were purchased and while they had a lead, right? The fact that they failed that 4v4 gank in the bot wave that they played into the Yasuo teleporting in. I mean, phenomenally defended by T1. Great job by them. Not going to hold anything against them. But Sandbox not being able to rotate everyone, specifically the Gnar. We'll go over that play in a moment, but here we go. Final continuation, and Lee Sin just crushing these fights. Again, this is the advantage that you got from Gragas. Setting up the Lee Sin earlier means that Lee Sin gets to be a kingpin all game. And you see Zeus just going to be able to run everybody down. Skipping past the turrets. They're getting super hyphy for this, as they should, right? They're trying to clean up the game. If they get these kills, then the game is absolutely done and dusted. Not that they need them to win from here, but that is going to be it. They've got 4 deaths, 7 seconds on Ashe they don't care about. You're going to see 1 hit tanked by the carry, and then you're going to come over while other people pick up aggro and take these turrets down. But Gragas able to get Zhonya's off. Oh my gosh. And the heal and the shield from Lee Sin. Oh my goodness. This Gragas just does not die. It takes so much to kill a Rod of Ages Gragas. And the game just ends. T1 is cracked. Holy moly, this team is good. All right, so let me feature for a moment what we would get here. File. All right, so the play in question. All right, you've got your top laner with your teleport. We're going to use this. If they come down bot side, right? You've got teleport up. You recall and you come to bot with your team. Now, your jungler in mid lane, they're going to push mid and rotate over. And what you do with this play, you've got a winning bot wave, so you've got 2 winning champions here. You're going to push through mid 2v1, hopefully for a moment, and then rotate into this jungle. And with Gnar on a back timer, this right here is an execute play. You'll be able to get this every single time, right? You either force them to fully contest with everything, which means Gragas missing out here. It means Yasuo missing out in top. All right, but instead, Yasuo is able to teleport at the moment that they take aggro, and they didn't have enough presence with the wave, right? You want to get this stacked wave. You want to have a 7 versus 6 wave coming in, and then boom, you kill this as the next wave is approaching. So you end up with a 13 versus 6 with minions under here, or you do it just 7 versus 0, 7 minions coming in as you converge on the bot wave. And then Gnar, you make this play, and then you teleport back to top wave. That's a legible P, right? Teleport. And that's an arrow. So that's the play. That's what you need to get done. Not enough teams are doing it. I have seen it a couple times in LCS. So there is some hope that the teams are evolving to add that in. But holy crud, that team's really good. T1 is really, really good. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.